What's up, y'all? So, I'm going to talk about something I read or finished reading earlier this week. It could have been a week ago. I don't know. Time is crazy these days. It's Cinema Speculation by Quentin Tarantino, who I don't think any needs any introduction. There's a lot of glare there. This is a picture of Steve McQueen, and I believe that is um um I should know this because I know who it is. I'm just blanking. I woke up 15 minutes ago. I want to say it's who's the guy that did um that one movie with Steve McQueen. Um the Getaway is the movie. Sam Peckinpah. Okay, which gosh, it's one of the movies he talks about in here. Okay, where is camera so I can see if I'm looking crazy? Okay. So, it's his first nonfiction, first film criticism, analysis, whatever you want to call it, book after he wrote a novelization of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, a film he made. He wrote a novelization of it, which apparently is a form of literature he really likes. After hearing that, I read one once. It was for Dragonheart, novelization of Dragonheart. I read this last year, and I don't think I could ever read a novelization again. Then again, it's based on a mediocre movie, so I don't know. Okay, might have something to do with it. But anyway, okay, so he talks about it's partly film criticism and part biography because he talks about these movies between the years of 1968 and 1981 when he was going to theaters as a kid and a young teenager with his mom and or some of her associates, friends, peers, or whatever. And so he goes into a little detail about who he saw it with, what the experience was like in the theater with them, and the crowd and everything. I'll list off the movies for you. If I didn't want this spoiled when I got the book, so if you don't want this spoiled, then I guess you can turn the video off. Is there a table of contents? I think I can remember remember all of them from the top of my head anyway. Okay, so there's no table of contents, which is bizarre. I feel like books aren't doing that anymore. It's weird to me. Okay, yeah, there's not. Okay, let me see if I can get all 13. Okay, I'm not gonna get them in order, but I'll try. First one he talks about is Bullet, which I've never seen, been wanting to see since high school, but it's never streaming anywhere. And so what I was doing when I was reading this, I'd see the title of the movie, the chapters, the title of the movie. If I hadn't seen it, I was gonna go and watch it and then read the chapter. If I had seen it, I was gonna read the chapter and then rewatch it. So I did that several times. So for Bullet, it wasn't streaming anywhere, so I just read the chapter without seeing the book before or seeing the movie before or after. And then he talks about Deliverance right after, I believe, which I had seen, so I read it and then watched it again. Oh man, I think I already forgot all the rest. Oh, Dirty Harry, which I've seen a couple times before reading that chapter in my life, and then read it, saw it again. Dirty Harry. Okay, I'm just gonna have to fly through this. Dirty Harry, the Funhouse. That's the last one he talks about, a Tobe Hooper movie, which I just kind of discovered existed a few months ago before I even read that book, and I've been wanting to see it, and it's not streaming. Daisy Miller, a movie by Peter Bogdanovich. That's 5. Holy crap. The Getaway, which I had seen a couple years ago and wasn't impressed with, and his takeaway on it, I guess, is cool, but I still don't get it. The Outfit, which I hadn't seen, so I watched and then read his chapter because it was streaming. It's on HBO Max, I'm pretty sure. That was kind of cool. The music was pretty cool. I'm at money at 7. Taxi Driver, which I've seen countless times. So I read the chapter and then I watched the commentary since I own it. Hardcore, a movie directed by Paul Schrader. 9. I can't do it. And then what else? Rolling Thunder, which I watched before reading his chapter. That movie was kind of cool. At 10, okay, almost there. 11, Paradise Valley, which is a passion project by Sylvester Stallone that I had never heard of, and it wasn't streaming, so I never got to watch it, and now I really want to. Gosh. gosh. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Okay, but what did I think of the book? Okay, so it's his first venture into this, and it kind of shows. He talks about these 13 movies, but doesn't really explain why he picked those 13 movies. It's not like those are the only movies he saw during the period he wanted to talk about and the experiences he wanted to talk about. And he doesn't, because he doesn't really like all of them. He likes Rolling Thunder, he likes Taxi Driver, he likes Deliverance, and likes The Getaway, The Outfit. Like more than half of them, but some he's like, they're okay. And he kind of nitpicks things about them. So I was just kind of like, you think you'd pick something you really love and want to get other people to love it, or at least just watch it, or something that you think is not good and you have a lot of things to say about it, or something that's regarded as good and you think it's not, and you want to let the people know why you think it's not. He doesn't really explain any of that. These are just movies he loves and says why, or these movies that he thinks are just okay and he says why, and that's it. There's no explanation of why he chose them, really. But the way he writes is refreshing, because he writes the way you hear him talk in interviews and stuff. It's not really prosy, it's not really pretentious, it's not wordy. He talks to you, it's like he's talking to you on your level when he talks about these movies. Now, when he talks about these movies, he's going to go over a lot of things that you don't know, and myself included. I went to the film school. I've been a fan of movies my whole life. I'm an occasional film maker, and I would say I probably knew, like, I might be exaggerating, I don't even know, like 15% of the information he spews on for about pages and pages. And he talks about 13 movies, but he talks about a lot of movies in those chapters too. So he's not just talking about 13 movies. He's just focusing on 13, but he does little, tangents on other films and filmmakers. And speaking of which, I knew he was a knowledgeable person on the history of cinema and the industry itself and the movies themselves, but you can't really know how much he knows until you read this. It's crazy. When people say he's an encyclopedia of film knowledge, it's no joke. And you get that impression when you read this. When I was going into this, I thought he just knew the most about his niche. 60s and 70s action, blaxploitation, exploitation, grindhouse, horror and westerns, and kung fu movies. I thought he just knew his niche about those in those particular decades. But he mentions films and filmmakers that he likes that I never would have guessed he did. I don't really have any examples, but I don't really have any examples, but they're just like, oh, wow, he actually, let alone knows that, let alone has seen that, let alone liked it, loved it, or whatever. So I was pretty impressed with that. But yeah, he's definitely, probably, most likely, definitely, actually, the most knowledgeable person on film as a whole, cinema as a whole, on the planet. I think it's no contest. But the problem is, other than he doesn't explain why he's picking what he's picking, he tries to combine the personal with the analytical, and that mesh never really meshes. And then he tries to tie it up in the last chapter that really seems profound, but it kind of just comes out of nowhere. It kind of feels tacked on. So it didn't really do the trick with combining the personal and the analytical. And if you're going to try that, I think I have the right to criticize it if it's not done exactly well, but who cares? It's his first try. You learn so much reading it. It's a good book. It's a good book. I only recommend it to Tarantino diehard fans, not just all fans. Yeah, Tarantino's good. If he's one of your favorites, read it. If you really love cinema as a whole, read it. Like I said, if you're not into movies from this period of time, it's not going to be for you. So if you only I only like A24 movies, this is not for you. I only like classic Hollywood, this is not for you. If you like movies as a whole like me, this is for you. So I'm going to keep this book. I'm going to recommend it to people. And those are pretty much my thoughts on it, I think. Should I do a recap if I haven't already, make this sound? Okay. 1. Criticisms. Doesn't say why he picks what he picks. 2. The meshing of the analytical, and the personal is not very cohesive or poignant, but he tries. And what I did like is the knowledge, the voice. What else? I think there was something I meant to say that I didn't say.
Why are there so many movies?